The sidelines empty. Rings for the Rams. A Lombardi trophy for Los Angeles. 23-20 is the final on their home field here at SoFi Stadium in Super Bowl 56. The Los Angeles Rams are world champions.
Here's the finish. 2-1 Edmonton. Sagan pumps it down low. Bouchard spins it around. Marking it from up to the wide. Jason Robertson. 30 seconds. He's gonna have it blocked. This game, this series is over. Edmonton's heading to the Stanley Cup final.
You're listening to The Manning Show with you and Manning. 30 minutes of straight sports talk starts now.
Welcome to The Manning Show. Welcome back. I know Will isn't here, as you can see in here. Just things going on this week with him. But I'm here. We're going to bring you an exciting interview in just a moment. Zaky Sports. You might see him on your For You page, ZakyCFL. Really, really great interview that I had with him. It was a lot of fun, and it was good to talk some CFL with, a ball knower of the CFL, and just a fun week. A really fun week. It was good to get that pod out the other day, and it was a good interview. We'll get into some stuff a little bit after, but here's the Thursday Report interview of the week. I'll get it to you right here. Welcome back to the Manning Show, the Thursday Report, part of the UN Sports Network. And today, like I said earlier, we're excited to bring on a guest, big CFL. You've probably seen him on your For You page. I have quite a bit. It's Zaky Sports. Zach, I really appreciate you coming on today.
It's a pleasure to be on here, man. I'm really excited. I'm excited. I was looking at some Manning Show stuff. You guys are doing a great job, so it's cool to be here.
Yeah, and honestly, the CFL has been really, really fun in the first 6 weeks, and coming on to week 7 here, we have a big matchup tomorrow night between my Edmonton Elks and the BC Lions. But I want to start with around the CFL a little bit here, because there's some really fun storylines going on, and honestly, there's some big games coming up. But I think we should start with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Ottawa Red Blacks. A very great story here with Drew Brown. What are your thoughts on this game on Sunday?
Well, I just put out a video on my account recently, which was Zach Caleros is like in full pads and he's practicing today. And it's like, Zach, you can't do this. We don't need you on the field. We need to see Drew Brown. We need to see Ryan Dinwiddie. Because if you look at like the actual discourse between those two guys, this was not friendly at all. Like, no, they're kind of a little bit in the media, like skirting around it a little bit. And Drew Brown had that interview with the Bombers where he's like, oh, I don't want to say too much, but you can feel simmering beneath like a real disdain for each other, these two guys. So anytime you get an opportunity to see that in a game, especially considering how Drew Brown played last week, and that was a bit of a show me game already to the Red Blacks, you absolutely need to see it. And I think Mike O'Shea knows that. And I think he wants to give Drew Brown that opportunity. And I'm sure Zach does too. Yeah,
that's totally fair. And the Red Blacks have been a total wreck, obviously, since the start of the season. And the Elks really put it to them in that fourth quarter. I was at that game. It was a little tight right up until the end, but then the Elks run game with Leak and Rankin just took over at the end. So the Red Blacks, it'd be interesting to see.
The one thing I do want to say, though, is if you're Zach Caleros in this situation, maybe you do want to push it out and play, because how good Drew Brown looked last week.
Yeah, that's true.
If he does that again and you start to see a trend where, like, let's be honest, like, Zach is a legend. He's one of the best to ever lace him up. He's not been as good in these last couple of years.
No, he is not. Nope.
He's not. It's not the same level.
Yeah.
And they still have such a great team. They still have Dembski. They still have Brady Oliveira. The defense is always going to be cooking under Mike O'Shea. Drew Brown could win that starting job. I really believe that.
In my opinion, it's a total mismanagement of this Ottawa team. Like, you had a guy who is very, very good, as we see. And it's just a mismanagement of this situation, which is hard to see.
It's ego, right? That's what it boils down to. Ryan Dinwiddie, the reason why he left the Argos to go to the Red Blacks was because he wanted to become GM of the team. He wanted to have full say over the roster. And Drew Brown clearly is a better quarterback than Jake Maier. I think everybody would agree with that. I think Jake Maier himself might agree with that. So it's like he didn't want Drew Brown because he wasn't his guy. He wasn't going to do things exactly the way that he wanted. And if you want to be a great coach, you got to fit around the guys that you have, especially when you're coaching in Ottawa and what those fans have been through over the last few years. They need to win games now. This is not the NFL where like you can tank for a season and you draft Arch Manning. Like that's not how you find quarterbacks in the CFL. There's no huge advantage to tanking. The focus should be on winning every single game, no matter what, every week.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really rough situation. Honestly, Jake Maier probably could have thrown like 7 interceptions. I was at that game and it was some of the worst quarterback play I've seen. And I was honestly at the point feeling bad for him. Like it was just, it was really, really rough to watch. So hopefully, I mean, I don't want to see the Red Blacks go through the same situation that us Elks fans have been through. So that'll be, it will be really interesting to see if Caleros ends up playing in that game. But moving on, the Tiger Cats losing Bo Levi Mitchell in really rough fashion. I know you're a supporter of the club, so I just want your thoughts on this game against the Argos.
Yeah, I mean, every time I think about Bo Levi Mitchell, it just like it breaks my heart over again. You know, I just like I can see it in slow motion every single day when because the optimism coming in to this season and watching those first few games, it was palpable around Hamilton. It was palpable in my heart, in my spirit. Like the offense was humming. They went and made some great moves. Add Carrick Wheatfall, add Curly Gittins Jr. alongside Keandre Smith and Kenny Lawler. And then you see the defense humming. And I think that's what makes this game interesting coming up against the Argos. Last week, I know the final score ends up being 38-14. The Ticats were in that game until the fourth quarter when there was like that rash of turnovers at the end. And you look at the Argos, and I'm not super high on them for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think their secondary is really bad. You've seen their DB's coach go out on Twitter and put out tweets saying like, hey, what we're doing is not good enough right now. And second of all, as good as Chad Kelly is, he can sling it better than anybody can sling it probably. He just got an absolute cannon. He does not play winning football. When you watch a guy like Trevor Harris work his way through progressions, find the right guy at the right time, Chad Kelly is not interested in doing that. He's interested in finding the biggest throw on every single play that he can make. So if you're looking at the Ticats coming into this game, you're saying, okay, I think defensively with Wynton McManus being in there, with Jamal Peters being in there, the way that Destin Talbert, Stavros Katsantanos, Julian Hauser, I think the defense actually has an advantage in that game.
Yes, I agree.
The problem is you got to play both ways. And offensively, there's no juice. If you're going into this game and you're the Ticats, are you playing Trey Ford? Are you playing Jake Dolegala? What's your move?
I mean, I'm a big Elks guy, as you know.
You've been through the Trey Ford experience.
Yeah, I've been through the Trey Ford experience, and I'll tell you, there was a point where we were chanting, we want Trey Ford in the stands. And I'd say you have to go with Trey Ford. I really think what he can do on the ground with his legs, and he's not the greatest passer. We know that, but I think he's a dynamic quarterback, and that's the guy that I look to go for in this game, to be honest. I was just a little underwhelmed in the last one, and I think he's the guy to carry it forward for this team. But I guess we'll see, because both of them got reps in that game, but definitely one of them get more of them.
Milanovic was like a little bit sort of like shady or like secretive about who he's going to announce, which makes me think it'll be Trey Ford. And I agree with you. I think what it boils down to is Trey Ford can't really throw, but he can run. Jake Dolegala can't throw and he can't run. So let's just put in the guy that can at least run.
Right. Yeah, that's fair, exactly. And when you have an offense that isn't working that well, it's good to have the options with the legs. For the Argos, Chad Kelly really reminds me of kind of like a Jameis Winston type, where likes to have that gunslinger mentality. And I'll be curious to see. The Argos obviously have the upper hand in my eyes in this one. They're big favorites, giant favorites. So
Or like, what about like Baker Mayfield? Like Baker Mayfield,
yeah.
like I feel like, you know what I mean? Like last year, Baker Mayfield first half of the season was absolutely electric,
Unreal.
looked like an MVP candidate.
Yep.
And then the end of the season, he kind of falls off.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of like the highs of Chad Kelly are
right.
He's won MOP, right? Like he's been the best in the league. So, but then the lows are really, really, really low.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a great comparison. I really like that. Moving on, we got some one more big game going on in the CFL. I want to get one more thing. Hold on, I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, Alouettes and Stamps, 2 p.m. I was just trying to find the time. Saturday, July 18th. That's a big game. Two great teams coming in. The Owls obviously favored in this one. They're a very good team coming in. Only loss against my Edmonton Elks. But what are your thoughts on this game?
I think the Stamps are the most underrated team in the CFL. I know it hurts to say that to an Elks fan, but you look at Vernon Adams Jr. having games where he goes for 7 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns or whatever it was. Like, he's just so good. And you throw onto the fact that they have Dedrick Mills running the ball in the backfield. Dejan Brissett, who they added, like having a superstar Canadian receiver like that. I mean, that makes such a huge difference. They're just a really good team. Dave Dickinson is always going to have you super, super prepared. I think by the end of this, they're going to shock somebody in the playoffs. I think at some point they could go to the Grey Cup. I can see that happening. The problem is the Montreal Alouettes they're borderline a perfect football team right now.
Yeah.
They just have everything cooking. Davis Alexander is, if I had to take a quarterback in the CFL, I would take Davis Alexander, and nobody else would even come close, to be honest with you. Like his arm strength, his ability to like throw off platform, it's ridiculous. And he just has that competitive spirit. He has that dog in him. Yeah. And then you look at the guys that he's throwing to. I mean, Tyson Philpott I've been calling him the prime minister. Like, this guy is the best. He's been the best player, I think, in the NFL or the CFL.
CFL,
other than some of the quarterbacks how they've been playing. And it's not even just him. It's Snead too. It's like Thice in the backfield is running all over. And then they have, you've got Tyrese Beverett on defense. It's just everything's good. They're kind of perfect. Edmonton winning against them is by far the biggest tip in their cap all season about what an impressive win that was. So I love Calgary. I think they're the most underrated team. I think they're going to make noise in the West. I can't pick anybody to beat the Alouettes.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Montreal, honestly, when we got a little lucky in that game as well, Rankin fumbled there in that overtime and maybe got a little lucky in the end. But hey, I mean, I'll take any win for the Edmonton Elks. It's nice to see them get that one against Montreal. I was a little scared for a second, but yeah, I'd have to take Montreal as well. They're so good. Philpott is unreal. He torched the Elks, and there's not many better receivers in the league right now than him.
He's so fun to watch, and he is just he's dialed in. And when you talk about a guy that like is that talented, and his dad played in the CFL, and his brother played in the CFL, and they grew up in the Canadian game. He understands the nuances of everything so well that and when you have Davis Alexander throwing to you, it's going to make you 100 times better. So he's borderline unstoppable.
Yeah, they've got a great thing going over there in Montreal, which is tough to see as an Elks fan, but again, they're a great team. So maybe we'll see them down the road. We'll get to the Friday one tomorrow night. Elks, Lions. I will be there in attendance for that one.
Love that.
I want your initial thoughts on this because I have to roll with my Elks. But this is going to be a really good game. I think this could be the best game of the week, possibly as well.
I think it's the game of the week. I think I don't know. I find it hard to give up on the BC Lions.
Yeah.
When you have Nathan Rourke, it's just like you eventually think they're going to figure something out. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you're just looking at this objectively and not kind of factoring in the fact that the CFL is crazy and any team can beat any team any week, the Edmonton's just a better team on by far on paper. Yeah. I think you look at, what they've been able to do. Obviously, offensively, it's been really exciting. What I really love to see last week was the Rankin and Leak.
Yes.
That I think is really, really smart.
Yes.
I think playing both of them and getting both of them. Javon Leak is too good to have sitting on the bench and just returning kicks.
Yeah.
He needs to be out there making plays. And then obviously Rankin has been, he's probably been better than Philpott this year. He's probably been the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And you have also, I think what goes for the Elks is that the defense is not only very good, they're incredibly opportunistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cordell Jackson has been an absolute superstar this year. And when you look at how BC has been playing, they just haven't been playing disciplined football.
Mm-hmm.
They've been making mistakes. So if Edmonton is able to capitalize on those mistakes and then supplement that with, hey, we're going to run the hell out of the ball with Rankin and Leak all game, and Cody's going to make his plays, and Austin Mack, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the CFL right now. He's been really, really good. Here's where I see a problem, though, is I want your opinion on this as an Elks fan, as somebody who's watching him week in, week out. What do you think about Cody Fajardo in a shootout with Nathan Rourke? Because the one game you guys lost was the game where Rankin couldn't get it going on the ground, and you relied more on Fajardo. So I'm a little bit worried in that scenario. Are you worried?
Yes, I would be worried. We saw him throw 50 passes in that game. And to be completely honest, this Elks offense is a running offense. Mm-hmm. Cody Fajardo, at where he is in his career, he's been an absolutely phenomenal quarterback, but he's not meant to throw 50 passes. This is a guy that is a fantastic game manager, right? And I really think that if we're just going to do the same thing that we did against the Lions last game, it's not going to work out. We need to get a little more better with our play calls, especially offensively. We need to be a little more creative. And if you use Rankin and Leak, we're going to have success. This is something that I've said through the past few years for the Elks. When we saw both these guys really burst onto the scene, that's the best we've seen in the running game. And I know Rankin's been phenomenal, and the running game's been so good. But when you get both of them going, it opens up stuff for both of them. And we saw Rankin, he was kind of slow against the Red Blacks to start. And then Rankin really got the run game going, and they went back to Rankin, and that's when he absolutely turned up. So I really think we need to get the two guys going against the Lions.
And the thing is, like, you got to commit to it.
Yes.
Even if the Lions come out and they're guns blazing and you're down 14-0 to begin the game, it's like the clock takes forever in the CFL.
Exactly.
So you have to continue to, like, okay, we got stuffed on first down. It's like, that does not mean that you can't run again on second down.
Yep.
Because Rankin can bust it at any time. So if you have to have a couple of 2-and-outs and that's what it takes to get the running game going, I just think you got to keep going for it. You got to keep trying it, because once the floodgates open with Rankin and Leak, that's when, like, the Elks, they go on a run. That's how they win all of their games, right? Like, it's close. And then they're like the old, like, 2016 Golden State Warriors, like, third quarter, like, Rankin has beat them up a little bit, and now he's able to open up these big runs. And you kind of have to be committed to that, regardless of whether or not it's working early in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jordan Maximic's got to be just a little more creative. He's got to really stick with his play calls, because it was a little too predictable in that game. But the other side of this is the Lions ran all over the Elks, and that was my biggest issue coming out of that game. I can't pronounce his last name, but he was our third overall pick. It starts with a D. I can't pronounce it. But he came in at linebacker against them, and he did not have a great game. He played a great game last game, actually. But our linebacker room, a little bit banged up. Brock Morganson was hurt. Nick Anderson, who's been our stud for a long time, he's hurt as well. So both those guys are out. Joel DeBlanco's been.
That's not good.
They're both out. So they've both been on the 6-game IL. But Joel DeBlanco's been absolutely phenomenal. I thought it was a better game.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been a better game last game from that third overall pick. But for the Elks this week, I really think they got to slow down this run, because Butler just ran all over them.
And Butler's a tank. So,
yeah,
like, he's a guy similar where it's like, if he gets rolling, then it could just be curtains for you, just based off him absolutely not only just gashing you for these big gains, but also just physically beating up your defense the entire night. And that's what you don't want to see. And then if off of that, the Lions can start getting play action opportunities, then that's how they're going to win games, right?
Exactly.
Like that's what they want. And then you're getting the opportunity to throw big passes down to Hatcher or Burial or whoever the guy is that week. That's going to play really well for them. So I think that definitely is a huge concern.
Yeah, that really scares me, seeing Nathan Rourke get out of the pocket and just look and make his reads downfield. It's honestly really scary, and I don't want to see that.
And scrambles on you. That's where Nathan Rourke breaks your heart, right?
Yep.
On like a second and long, and you're like, we got everything covered, everything's going, and then it's like he takes off and he's burying his helmet into people's chest, and that's where it gets. I think this game, the Elks are the better team. The Elks are the better team. As long as they continue to establish their identity, I do think they should win. But it's just BC is not going to be held down for too long, and anything can happen in the CFL. So I think it's a scary game, but definitely the best game on the schedule this week, I think.
Yeah, and it should be really fun. The other thing I'm worried about, last little thing about this game, is I'm going to be curious about the Elks pass rush, because for whatever reason, Nathan Rourke seems to absolutely dominate them. But I really think the big thing for me is if they have a good pass rush, everything else will follow this week. There's been a few games where they've been weaker, and there's a few games where they've been stronger, but I really like if the pass rush is there. It'd be nice to see Malik Carney really get a good game this week. I really would like to see it and really see that superstar form from last year with Saskatchewan. I'd like to see that this week and see us get a few sacks on Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, I mean, Malik Carney is a game wrecker, and I mean, Brinkman, I think, is a really good player too. And
Brinkman's been solid.
And that's where it's like, I mean, yeah, I think the onus is on them a little bit, because the DBs are going to be good. Like the DBs have just been really good all year. So if they can match it with the pass rush, but again, too, it's like they got to stop the run. They got to contain the run, and you got to like force Nathan Rourke to try and make plays downfield. So I think it's almost it's like a bit of an inside out situation for the defensive line. It's like, can you establish the ability to stop the run at the beginning of the game so that you kind of get them on their heels a little bit? And then that's when you obviously need to take advantage with the pass rushers and on those long passes be making plays like that, or at least affecting the quarterback enough that he's throwing it into adverse situations, and you can get Tyrell Ford, taking a pick six back to the house. Yeah,
and honestly, I love this DB room. I think this is my favorite DB room as an Elks fan so far. So many players on this team that play phenomenal. So, like the DB room, probably my favorite part of this Elks team, to be honest. I think it's their biggest strength. They just fly around the ball and make plays all year.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's not very often that you're like, oh, I'm excited to like watch this defense make plays. They're fun to watch and they make plays.
Yeah, so I got some statements here to read off. So we do a little thing on the show. It's buy or sell. So basically, I'm going to read you a statement, and you're going to tell me if you buy the statement or you're going to sell on the statement, okay?
Love it.
The Edmonton Elks finish first in the West.
The Edmonton Elks finish first in the West. So who else do we got? We got the Bombers, we got the Stamps, we got the Lion. Yeah, I think the Elks do finish first in the West. I think this lead, I'm buying that. The start that they've gotten, I don't think it's going to be a runaway win the West, but I think with the start that they've gotten, the fact that they're already got a leg up on a bunch of teams there, and because of the way that they play football, especially heading into the fall, where they're able to run the ball and Cody Fajardo is able to be more of a game manager, I think I'll take the Elks to win the West.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I would love to see that. The Edmonton Elks have the league's best defense. Buy or sell?
Let me think around the league. What's crazy is like, I'm selling that. I think the Tiger Cats, I think they do have the best defense in the CFL. I think it's unfortunate because of the way that it's going to go down. It won't really matter that the Tiger Cats have the best defense in the CFL. But if you look at the Tiger Cats defense, they have Joseph Osai, who's a young guy. He's been playing really good as a pass rusher. Julian Hauser was a double-digit guy last year. He's been incredible. Wynn McManus, I think, is maybe the most valuable defensive player in the league at any given point in the game for the way that he controls the defense. And then on the backside, when you have Jamal Peters, when you have Destin Talbert, when you have Stavros Katsantanos, who's right there with Cordell for the league lead in interceptions. I like that. I like that unit a little bit better, but it's pretty close either way.
Go either
the
way.
The Owls have a really good defense as well. It's close, but I'll sell on that.
Okay. Vernon Adams Jr. will finish as the top CFL quarterback. Buy or sell?
I'm going to sell on that one too.
Yeah.
I think Davis Alexander is going to be really hard to beat. I think Trevor Harris is going to be really hard to beat in that category as well. And the thing about Trevor Harris is he's just going to play good every week because that's just what he does. Obviously, like right now, it's tough. Like VA, he hasn't thrown an interception all year, right?
No.
Him and Davis Alexander.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure him and Davis Alexander both have 0 interceptions.
I'd have to check. I'm pretty sure you're right about that, though.
But the thing about VA is like he'll have a cold streak or he'll get hurt, and like that happens every year. I'm selling on that. I think it's Davis Alexander. I think it's Trevor Harris, and then it's VA, who is like I hate to sell on that because I think he's criminally underrated. But
yeah, you're right. He does not have an interception. That's pretty crazy. That's unreal. That's when you can win the turnover battle in the CFL. It's you can normally win a lot of football games doing that. So it'll be curious to see about that. But building on that, thank you for doing those statements.
No problem.
I want you to rank. I want you to rank your CFL quarterbacks from 1 to 9.
Okay, I love this. So let's start with 9. Let's work our way. Work our way up.
Okay.
Let's work our way. Or maybe it'll be a little bit easier to work our way down. Actually, let me go.
Okay.
Let me go with. Okay, actually, you know what? It's better content if you do 9 first. So let's start with 9. 9, I'm going to say is Trey Ford or Jake Dolegala. Whatever one you want to pick, whoever you want to have, those guys are by far the worst starter. And then 8 is Jake Mayer, without a doubt. And then 7, see, now this is where it gets hard. It's like, dang, it's only good quarterbacks from here on out.
Yeah, it is.
So 7, I'll go with Caleros. I'll put Caleros at 7. I think at this point in his career, he's just not one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So we got Alexander, Harris, VA, Fajardo, and Chad Kelly are left. So I'll go Chad Kelly next.
Okay.
I think that as good as he is, like I said, I just don't think that he plays winning football. I don't think that he's the kind of guy that is going to overcome a bad situation or put your team in a good spot to win. And then we'll go Fajardo. So we'll go Fajardo at 4. Maybe a little bit of a bump because it's an Elks crowd going here. But
that's
he's
fair.
a winner.
I agree. Yep.
He's a winner. He's a winner. He's won a Grey Cup. He's you know, he's a difference maker. He's somebody that galvanizes the room. It's like, he kind of gets jettisoned from these places because maybe he's not the most electric passer of all time.
No.
But he's absolutely a winner.
Yep.
And then 3, I'll go VA.
Yeah, that's fair.
Obviously, he can run, he can throw, he can do it all. Number 2, Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris is the most cerebral quarterback in the league. Does not have all the talent in the world, but the way that he prepares, the way that he comes into the game, knowing everything that's going to happen, I'll go with Trevor Harris at number 2. And number 1 is Davis Alexander, I think, by far.
That's a totally fair list. I honestly agree with everything.
I forgot Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke. I was about to say, where is he?
I'll put Rourke in between Kelly and I'll put Rourke.
He's above
Rourke and Fajardo. Maybe I'll put Rourke above Fajardo.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well.
I'll put Rourke above Fajardo.
It's pretty hard not to put him even higher, to be honest. Which is he's so good.
If the team was winning, it probably would be easy to rank him first overall, but put him just behind VA.
Yeah, he's so good. Like, I'm not excited to go to this game on Friday because if he is on a rhythm and is able to figure it out for this team, it's going to be a very tough game. Final thing here. I appreciate you coming on. I want your Grey Cup prediction. It's going to be an exciting one, but I want your prediction.
Wow. Okay. So at the beginning of the season, my Grey Cup prediction was the Ticats over the BC Lions, which neither of those teams will be involved in my current Grey Cup prediction.
Things change quick in the CFL.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. I think in the East, it's just impossible not to say the Alouettes. So I'll have the Owls in representing the East. I think in the West,
it's so hard. It's honestly
it's so hard.
It just depends on injuries, I think.
It depends on the injuries, and it's also just like the playoffs are just so like who's going to get hot at the right time. Give me the Stamps. Give me Calgary and Calgary.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to have a heartbreaker. We're going to have the Alouettes taking out the Stamps in the Grey Cup.
Wow. Yeah, that's totally fair prediction. Honestly, you could see all these teams in the West. I think all of the teams in the West could have a chance at the end of the day. If they play some solid football and they're playing their best football, they all have a chance. I couldn't say the same for the East, but the West.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially the top three teams to me are the Stamps, the Riders, and the Elks. I think the Riders are the best team on paper. The Elks are the team I would most like to see just because of what you guys have been through over the past few years. It's been brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think the Stamps are just like, the CFL is crazy. So like crazy things happen. So I'm just taking a crazy team to get hot.
They're very good. And it should be a really exciting game tomorrow night and then down the stretch. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, this was awesome, man. Super fun. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. All right, we're back after the interview. Really, really great interview. Honestly, it was great to have him on and just get some CFL talk. That's what I really wanted to get to. But in terms of the other sports going on, obviously with the NHL offseason, not a ton of news since we last posted. There's still a little bit, but I really, really, really have been locked in on this NHL news. Jeez Louise, I need to sneeze. Anyways, here's what the news has been. Connor McMichael and St. Louis avoid a ARB deal. 6 by 6.75. Zegras gets paid 4 by 9.125. I don't mind this deal. If you're the Philadelphia Flyers. It's really solid. Like, the guy's a good player. I know there's some people that don't like his style and how he plays the game, but he's a good hockey player. Like, this guy had a nice bounce back year and he deserves that money. I think if he continues to elevate and get a little bit better each year, this will be a good contract in year 3-4. Honestly, it's worth him now because of the cap going up. So I really like that. Cole Perfetti, 5 by 6. I like Cole Perfetti as a player. He's a great player. And yeah, that's a really good deal for them. Other than that, I don't know. Steve Yzerman, gone from the Red Wings. That was really interesting. If you're a Red Wings fan, who knows whoever the new GM is going to be, and if he is going to be a guy that is not going to be affected a lot by Steve Yzerman, who is staying as a hockey operations advisor. I don't really know. I guess we'll see. His influence is still going to be there, and he's an icon for the Red Wings, so he's going to be there no matter what. I'm really curious to see what happens with that situation. Anthony Mantha in the New Jersey Devils, 2 by 4.75. I like that deal for New Jersey. He's a good player. Should be solid. A decent deal for them. Nick Robertson in Pittsburgh, 2 by 3.25. Solid player. Pittsburgh, got some cap room. Can go do that. Braden Schneider have a settlement 1 year at 5.5. He's a good player, actually. I really like his game. I'm curious. It's good that it's a 1 year deal. I'm curious to see how the Rangers really develop this roster because I just don't really know the direction that they're going in, to be honest. Like, are they a team that's trying to make the playoffs? I don't know. I just don't know. Some more news. Peyton Krebs, 4 by 4.5. He's been really solid in Buffalo. Honestly, Buffalo's going to be very good again. The guy had 39 points. Really, really good. He played all 82 games, 12 goals, 27 assists in the postseason. He was pretty solid. So he's, a 0.5 points per game guy. Really solid deal. 4.5 for 4 years. That should be a nice deal for them. He's a good center, especially he's only 25 years old. So I like that deal for them quite a bit. Xavier Bourgault settles with Ottawa. That's pretty funny. But other than that, not a lot of NHL news. We already got into some Elks talk for that. Will and I are just going to save the World Cup for the World Cup talk. But I don't even know if I got anything else. Aaron Donald, I want to save that for Tuesday as well because that's some news. I don't know. I think that's all we got for this episode. Like, I really just wanted to get into this CFL stuff with Zach, and there is some stuff around the NFL, but it's just not. I guess we'll see. If Will was here, we'd probably have more to talk about, but I think that'll do it for us today on the Thursday Report. Wanted to keep this one a little bit shorter, and you guys can really enjoy this interview with Zach. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for Tuesday. I'm going to be away. I'm not going to be in Edmonton, so I'm going to have to bring my stuff with me to record a pod online with Will, so that should be interesting. Anyways, peace.